Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Rice Report, coming to you from my office, your office right here in Rockville. I wanted to update you on a number of things that are going on here in the council that we are working on as a collective body, but then also some of the important bills that I am putting forth before the county council and hope to enact passage very soon. One of the first ones is our radon testing bill, and this would mandate that all houses that are sold, single-family homes, would be tested for radon. This is extremely important because many people don't realize radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer, only to smoking. And it's extremely important for us to make sure that people are aware of these silent, deadly dangers that may be lurking in their homes. This doesn't require any huge additional expense for people that are selling their homes. A test can be bought at a Lowe's or Home Depot for about $20 or $25, but it can save a life. I encourage you, whether you are not selling your home or are, to get your home tested. It's really important, and it is a safety issue. And so just as we were talking about smoke detectors and changing your batteries and making sure that you have carbon monoxide detectors, you also need to have your home tested for radon. It's the right thing to do. Speaking of smoking, we have another bill in that actually deals with addressing vendors who sell tobacco products to minors. This is extremely important and was brought to our attention by the NBC4 investigative team. Scott McFarland did a report showing that underage folks were able to buy these tobacco products at a number of stores throughout the state. What we wanted to do is make sure that the fines were commensurate with the crime. This is something where we don't want to encourage our young people to smoke, and we want to make sure that they at least wait until legal age if they choose to do so. This is so important to us because we want to make sure that young folks understand the implications of smoking and the ramifications involved from a health perspective. And so my hope is that this bill will pass. It has unanimous support on the council. All 9 members are co-sponsors. I also want to talk to you about something that was a lot of fun for me, which was our Warrior Canine Connection program. This program links dogs with oftentimes wounded warriors, not just physically, but also come down with PTSD and other mental health challenges, all to make it easier for them to assimilate back into our community. Such an amazing program, and you see the love that's shared between these wounded warriors and their canine companions. And I was so happy to be there to see this graduation and to continue to support this great program.
The amount of help he's going to be is just amazing. I mean, the things they've taught him, and he shuts off light switches. My wife sent him upstairs today with my shoes for me.
Warrior Canine Connection is a grant-funded program that does receive funding through the County Council, and we're very happy to be supportive of the great work that's being done and making sure that our veterans, folks who have volunteered to serve their country and give of themselves, oftentimes life, limbs, and some of their mental capacity, can be supported.
This dog is hope for us. Cody got injured 3 years ago in Afghanistan. He's diagnosed with a TBI, traumatic brain injury, as well as severe PTSD. He doesn't sleep well. Our whole world has been flipped upside down. We don't go out in public. We don't go to baseball games, football games. Going out to eat in a restaurant is a huge ordeal for us. And so this dog is hope that we can kind of get a little bit of normalcy back in our life. We have a 3.5-year-old daughter, another one on the way, and so it can be pretty stressful in a household with living with a veteran with PTSD. And so hopefully this dog can help with the anger issues, depression issues, and just, you know, the man I married 8 years ago, kind of bring him back to life a little bit more.
Last but certainly not least, we've got to talk about the scourge of human trafficking that's going on in our nation. We as a region have come together, both Prince George's, Montgomery County, the District of Columbia, in ways in which we can strengthen our laws to ensure that we make this area, this region especially, a place where human traffickers understand they are not welcome and will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I'm happy to work with Councilmember Tom Hucker, who also serves on the Human Trafficking Task Force with me, to make sure that we can continue to strengthen these laws. He's put in a bill that I'm happy to co-sponsor that deals with increasing the fines for people who participate in prostitution.
We will not tolerate prostitution venues here in Montgomery County, but also that we're taking a serious stand when it comes to the victimization of women and sometimes boys that are caught up in these unfortunate situations.
And we want to make sure that those Johns are prosecuted so that we can try and eliminate the monetary aspects of this horrible crime. The reality is that these victims, both young men and women and older men and women that are trapped in this human trafficking, really suffer as a result. Later on, I'll be headed to Annapolis. As many of you know, we're approaching the Maryland General Assembly legislative session that takes place from January through April of every year. We always go to Annapolis asking for more additional funding for both school operating dollars and school construction. As the chair of the Education Committee, I've continued to say that this is a moral imperative for us and will do so on the steps of the Capitol building. It is important that Governor Hogan and his administration understand exactly what their impacts on budget cuts mean to Montgomery County students.
It's really concerning because the reality is what impact is that having on our kids and their ability to be able to learn at that top-notch level. At this point, we're not going to get additional money from the state.
The $17 odd million that was shorted for Montgomery County's public schools means less teachers, increased class size.
Many of you know about the overcrowding at Rachel Carson, and it's concerning.
And less of an ability to address the achievement gap. I hope that's not what Governor Hogan intended. I hope that Governor Hogan did not intend to shortchange our children just for political gain. This is not a game that we need to play with our kids. We need to ensure that our future is strong and bright, and the only way to do so is by investing in education and making sure that all of our children have access to a bright and prosperous future. I will be pressing on this governor to ensure that the adequate funding for both operating dollars and construction dollars come back to Montgomery County. We cannot remain silent. This is something that we have to fight for, and I want you to know that I'll be fighting for you and for your kids. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of the Rice Report. You can always feel free to reach out to me at 240-777-7955. You can also reach me on Twitter at Rice Politics and on Facebook at Councilmember Craig Rice. Either way, I look forward to hearing from you so we can continue to make Montgomery County one of the best places to live, work, and play. Thank you so much, and God bless.